coming at you. Girl, you're my target, I'm aiming at you. You're a comet, I'm trying to catch you. You can break any rule they ever taught you. Forget about anything they ever bought you. 'Cause me and you don't need a...
What a game one, guys. We are back now for game number 2 of Team Leviathan versus T-Show. Of course, this is the Sudamerican Master 3 powered by G2A. I'm Chicago Ted. Joining me is, in respective order, AnneDroid and Turbo. How you guys doing?
I am doing so good. That was such an awesome game one to watch. Some crazy team fights, some crazy matchups, and I'm excited to see what both teams are bringing for game 2, because they're fighting to stay in this. Both teams want to get to a place where they could get first in this entire tournament, and that's what they're fighting for.
I'm interested to see if T-Show will go for the Broodmother pick again. I don't think they should. The hero, like, it's very good in the first 20-30 minutes, but then it just falls off so heavily, and I think what we've seen is that Team Leviathan will draft around just being able to turtle into their base and prevent pushes. I don't think the Brood is the pick against Leviathan anymore.
You think they're going to go for a more thought-out late-game strategy, perhaps picking something hard farming like the PL, the Spectre, someone like that?
I think they can go for like a heavy team fight lineup, just something that runs at you and kills you. See, they're banning out the Night Stalker, and the Doom. They just want those are heroes that are really good against teams that just run at you, because they limit how much you can be aggressive on the map.
All right. What are you expecting for first picks? Anything clowny?
No, it'll be like a Tusk first pick or something. I think that hero is very high pick priority, and they've banned out the SF. Or they tend to favor getting Francis's hero very early. It will be a Winter Wyvern.
Alright, so they're going to start by picking up their support. I think that's pretty solid. But Team Leviathan start by picking the Darkseer. Very frequently banned out. Not sure exactly what percentage of matches he is banned out for, but he's such a strong offlaner. I love this guy because he adds so much to team fights, but he's okay if you just want to leave him alone for 10-20 minutes. And Team Leviathan going to snap him up. I think they're going to get a lot of use out of this little guy.
It's also a bit of a deny pick because the Winter Wyvern Darkseer pick combo is actually pretty common. I don't know what the win rate is. I'll have to ask Corporal British what that is. I don't think it's actually a very high win rate, but it's still annoying to play against. And they do take Francis's hero too.
Now, what I really like here is that Jenkins is going to be on this Darkseer. If anyone was watching yesterday, Jenkins played an absolute perfect Darkseer. It was fantastic to watch him. I think, what was it, Turbo? You were there with me, right?
Yeah.
They were behind so much. And then all of a sudden, Jenkins comes out with some of the best vacuum walls you've ever seen in your life. And of course, they had Snowball, they had Witch Doctor on top of it. Speaking of which, I would like to see Leviathan pick up a Witch Doctor here. But it was perfect. Amazing play from Jenkins. And I'm really excited to see them drop this Witch Doctor in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it's not banned out, it'll be picked up probably next round.
Witch Doctor would be okay here. I think, like, heavy early game presence is what they want to go for. They picked the Queen of Pain also because it does well against countering the Winter Wyvern's Cold Embrace with all the magical damage. So they have a very strong early draft.
Alright, so Team Leviathan, I can see them going for a really, really strong teamfight combo. The heroes they're banning out really punish teamfight combos. The Lion with that Ags, the Ember Spear with the Sleight of Fist. So Queen of Pain, Darkseer, what combos well with that? You want him to go for the Tusk, or?
I don't know. I always like the Tusk. I will always favor picking up a Tusk at one point or another, just because the hero, I mean, having an 80% pick ban rate, that's got to be enough to say, wow, what a hero, right? But in the end, I mean, he has so many utilizations in the game, whether he needs to be an initiator, whether he needs to save an ally, whether you just want some guy with a heavy fist to punch someone in the air. Yeah,
he gets banned by Leviathan.
The dream. I think what they're anticipating is that the Tusk Snowball would be really annoying, probably forces Queen of Pain to use ultimates a little more conservatively because the Snowball is just going to roll in and save people. That's always what happens. Like a Tusk Snowball just rolls in, makes you miss your ultimate, makes you look like an idiot.
Ooh,
I like this too.
Space Cow.
More run at you stuff. This is pretty common with the Darkseer. It's an insanely difficult off lane to deal with, especially for an anti-mage.
I
Oh
love the
god.
Ogre pick here. Ogre's one of my personal favorite heroes just because he offers so much, and as a support, he's really tanky and hard to kill. So he can walk into those fights and not be worried about being killed like a squishy support like that Crystal Maiden or a Rubik or something like that. So Tisha going for more of a resilient lineup, having the Winter Wyvern to heal everyone up. The Anti-Mage can get in and out of fights without taking a lot of damage, usually, unless he's locked down. And Ogre as their support, I think that's going to be a beefy lineup that can stand up to a lot of the damage put out by Leviathan. What do you think?
I like Ogre. I like it a lot. He goes really well with Anti-Mage, gives Anti-Mage a lot of ability to fight, especially if he's able to get that Manta. He attacks for so quick. It's almost amazing. He goes into a fight and someone gets blown up in no time at all. Of course, that happens without the Ogre Magi, but it's even better when you've got the twin-headed doofus there. So I love the pick. He also helps a lot versus the Queen of Pain. He helps versus the Spirit Breaker. Hell, he's just an overall incredible hero to have.
Witch Doctor.
There's your buddy.
Yeah.
That's going to be
Yeah.
an incredible team fight.
I think it's gonna be a Windrunner for mid, but we'll see. For
On the side
Tisho.
of, yeah,
Tisho.
Tisho. Who's going to be
She-
Leviathan's last pick? Are they looking for a hard farmer here?
Yeah. Somebody who I would actually like the Juggernaut here, if I think about it. Just somebody who can apply a lot of early pressure, farms very quickly, just pushes in lanes, and then good team fight as well with his ultimate.
What would you think about a Luna here?
10 seconds to go.
It would be okay. I think your lane would be a little too weak because they're probably anticipating that it'll be like a dual off lane with an Ogre and a Clockwork.
Dire's band.
Tisho going to grab up that Clockwork. We saw it have minimal game impact early game, but then late game, wow, Leviathan put that thing to work. So what are Tisho trying to do with it? They're trying to have the same effect where early game you lose the lane, but late game you can just be a monster. Are they really going to try to go up against the team fight of Leviathan, or are they going to go for individual pickups?
The Clockwork will do fine because they know that it's going to be a dual lane from the Spirit Breaker and the Darkseer, and Witch Doctor's a strong laner, but he's not strong enough to like zone out the Clockwork all on his own. So he'll have a better time in the off lane than Leviathan did last time. And the Clockwork still did fine. He got his levels. He got his level 6 really soon. He just didn't get the best hooks off.
Yeah, and we saw him just really struggle to get that blade mail. It was, gosh, I'm forgetting the timing. It was probably around 20 minutes, so not ideal for a Clockwork in the off lane.
Honestly, probably a little bit past then, like 23, 24. I don't know. Still, pretty late. Not a huge game impact, but I think this game will be pretty invaluable.
10 seconds to go.
I think, like, basically every team fight, how things should go is you want to hook onto Darkseer or Witch Doctor. Either one and just prevent them from getting into the fight and using their spells.
Alright, are you still thinking Tisho pick up a Windrunner here? Hard farming
Even
Dragon
more
Knight.
so now. Even more so now. No, I think it's going to be Queen of Pain safe lane and then Dragon Knight
Yeah.
in the mid lane. It's going to be a Windrunner. I think that's
That's
the best
just-
pick here. Because she clears waves insanely quickly. You have good anti-push against a pretty overwhelmingly pushed lineup from Team Leviathan. don't
If
know.
we can get our stats guy, what's the pick ban percentage of Dragon Knight in 6.85 so far? Because that just seems...
To go.
I think it'll combo really, really well with their lineup, especially pushing down the towers. Those things are going to melt. But I just...
Oh.
It was very unexpected. I would have thought they would go for something like the Juggernaut, or
Reserve.
even the Spectre has some decent team fight. I don't know if they'd get the space for her, but Tisho, Windrunner, is that still on the table? I think it does
Windrunner
well.
or Timbersaw, I think. We saw Timbersaw yesterday do pretty well.
You
But
got your answer.
they just need
Zach.
something with wave clear.
9.3% pick ban rate on Dragon Knight. I mean,
He's not very popular, and I think most of those picks have been by Cloud9 this patch. And they have a very good win rate. I think I've seen like every single game they've played the Dragon Knight, they won. Oh, this is so freaking greedy. I
So-
actually think they lost.
this is obviously not an Aghanim's farming alchemist, right? Unless, I mean, maybe Clockwork or Ogre Magi, but
I think Ogre Magi is the only one you want to give it to. And then the rest of the game you just play greedy.
this is a greedy alchemist. I like this pick. I really do, on multiple reasons. The biggest one being Darkseer and Dragon Knight, they excel in one thing. Okay, many things, but they excel really hard in one thing, and that's armor. So if you can get the minus armor off, you get the Assault Cuirass and the Acid Spray out, then team fights are going to come a lot easier. for Tijo, especially when you've got an anti-mage running around. Even though a lot of his damage does come from the mana burn, as time goes on, the minus armor is going to be incredibly useful to have.
But look how much burst they have. Like, they can burst the Alk so easy.
Well, I mean, then you try to build out tanky. I mean, Assault Cuirass, you build a Heart of Teresk, build these really tanky items, and make them a wall of meat.
One thing I really don't like about T-Show's lineup is that it seems really, really single target, whereas Leviathan is just going to be spraying damage at you from all over the place. T-Show, aside from the Winter Wyvern's ult and the Ogre's W, I just don't see a lot of potential for like group pickoffs rather than just going in on a single person and trying to get them down as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really rough game for Tisho. I think if I were
Is this one in the drafting phase, or do you think that they
I don't
can pull
think
it
it's
out?
I don't think it's one in the drafting phase. It comes down to how much pressure they can put on the mid lane, because they need to make sure that Alk has a good time. They need to make sure that they control runes very aggressively, and that they also don't take too much pressure on the anti-mage in the off lane, because it's gonna be like, how do you deal with the Darkseer and Spirit Breaker when you don't have any damage?
Well, let's go ahead and introduce the teams here that are going to be fighting for a spot in the grand finals tomorrow. On the side of Leviathan, we have Jenkins on the Darkseer. Shibby's going to be playing the Queen of Pain. Mineski Fangirl, aka Francis, is going to be on the mid Dragonite, most likely. Nusham is on the Spirit Breaker. And finally, on the support Witch Doctor, we're going to have Flying Zebra.
Yeah, it's definitely Francis on that mid lane. Where else do you see him? Meanwhile, for a T-Show playing his signature, it is Therence on the anti-mage with Baga playing the Winter Wyvern. We've got Credo Sarah Human. I got a tip as to what his name means. It's My Dear Human, I think, or Darling My Human, one of those two. He is going to be on the Ogre Magi. Sis will be playing the Alchemist. And finally, King RD, the king himself, locking down his throne on that Clockwork.
Look at this
All
move
right.
that they're making for the Alchemist. They moved him all the way up to the top rune spot because they know that Leviathan are going to move through their jungle and try and stop it. It's really
Yeah,
smart.
when this guy gets the bounty rune, that's going to be a nice chunk of change in his pocket.
Oh, I love this. I love this. Just look at that gold. Oh,
It's so
5x
disgusting.
multipliers. Gotta love them.
Yeah,
Ice
that's...
Frog, why did you do this?
I like it. I think it makes him really, really playable, and we've seen some crazy GPMs on this guy, like well over 1,000. So, it really depends on what kind of start he's going to get and how much he's going to get harassed in lane. Is Baga going to babysit him in the mid, or
He
just kind
has
of?
to.
Yeah.
Okay.
He has to.
I don't know if he was just going to pop in every once in a while, but we are going to see an initial Arctic burn just go out, putting very heavy pressure onto Francis, making sure that that guy is not going to be in lane interfering with his Alks farm.
Yeah, percentage-based damage is no joke for any hero. But Baga may have gone a little bit too far forward. Paralyzing Cask will fly, but
Oh, no.
not going to do all that much. Meaning on top lane, Shibby taking a lot of damage. Kratos, their human, is just going to run straight at him and hit him with that big old fiery club. But
This is so smart. This is like
What?
the lane rotations, the lane swap. They put the anti-mage on top because they know he can't deal with the Spirit Breaker Darkseer combo, so they just move him up to top where he can get guaranteed farm against Queen of Pain.
good call there. I mean, this Queen of Pain is actually not that great of a hero to play up against with anti-mage either. But I guess in terms of the hierarchy, yeah, you wouldn't play against this one a little bit more than you would the Darkseer, Shadow Spirit Breaker. But he's going to still take a lot of harass here. I think maybe get a little bit more experience and not have to take as much damage underneath the tower. And we're going to have a charge come in through the mid lane. Nusham actually doesn't even care about Sis, who goes straight back to farming. Nusham just making his way up top and making Anti-Mage's life a living hell. This is a great rotation coming out from them as well.
Well, he's got
Yeah.
a poor man shield and 8 tangos. There's nothing he can do.
Yeah, that guy's pretty beefy right now, but he just needs to stay up in the wave as long as he can, and he really can't be forced down. He is going to rotate bottom just to try to get some of that farm, but he's, like you said earlier, really going to struggle against that Darkseer.
Speaking of Darkseer, he's going to get the bounty rune. Baga chasing him down. They've got King RD close by as well. But it won't mean all that much. And guessing wrong on the rune, or at least it looks like they're not trying to hold it for Sis, as he is not going to get that bounty rune, unfortunately speaking. But I mean, I think if he misses one bounty rune every 2 or 3, it's not that bad. As long as he gets the next one, he should be able to keep that GPM obscenely high.
Yeah, I think this guy, his net worth needs to be double anyone else's by 20 minutes in the game, or it's going to be pretty tough for him to go up against that team fight. But if he can get off a really nice Chemical Rage, I think he can tank through a good amount of the damage Leviathan's going to throw at them.
He's leading in CS too. Like the early rotation from Winter Wyvern was so important because it just zones the Dragonite away until he's able to hit level 2 on the Alch and get his Acid Spray. And he's stacking camps for himself too. This is going to be a disgusting Alchemist game.
Yeah, that is a proactive little Alchemist right there. So, wow, in 6.85, he's been run 55 times in the pro scene, and that's a pretty good win record. So,
Yep.
I think if anyone can pull it off, it's Sis. We've seen this guy play an outstanding mid for the last couple of games. So let's see how he's going to stack up against Francis.
And personally, I like this Alchemist a lot more than something like a Spirit Breaker pickup. Whereas Alchemist might seem a little bit greedier, the problem that Spirit Breaker is going to run into is he's been running back and forth, top and bottom. And all this time, he hasn't really been able to accomplish that much aggression. Maybe he gets a bash here or there, but where does he actually find the fight? He charges onto Anti-Mage. Well, you don't kill the Anti-Mage because he just blinks away. He charges into the mid lane. Well, how do you kill Sis because he's rapidly approaching level 6? You go into the top lane, and they just stun you before you even get close. I mean, his job is one of the hardest in this game, where he's supposed to be setting up kills, but who does he initiate on?
I think he needs to be the non-team fight player of Leviathan, because everyone else is really focused on grouping up, going as 4 or 5, getting stuff done as a team, and the Spirit Breaker can kind of be the one controlling the tempo around the rest of the map.
Yeah, he just needs to be applying pressure and forcing rotations from the enemy team. Like, the anti-mage is free farming under tower right now, so he needs to be somewhere else. Like in mid lane, protecting the DK, or forcing the supports to go away. He's dead.
Francis, mid lane. Oh my god, the damage is real. Sis will draw first blood. So an Alchemist, who gets a lot of gold from bounty runes, will now get first blood. What was that?
This is the start of something big. This guy is just going to get as big can get. His gold per minute's going to be insane if he keeps up this trend. He has, what did he just buy for himself? Something fancy,
Medallion?
I bet.
You got a medallion, yeah.
Yeah, he just got himself a medallion, which is going to help him out a lot. Just going in, nice BV armor buff, just going to help him out so much against this Dragonite. I think this is... If Tisho can carry this momentum forward into the mid-game, it's going to be a really, really hard game for Leviathan, even with all that team fight potential that they have.
Look at what he's doing with all these stacks. He's taking all the stacks by himself with level 3 acid spray, and then he gives the lane to Winter Wyvern, so she's going to have a high XP gain too. Nusham is going to try and disrupt this though.
He may take a lot of damage from this, but I mean, he's going to have his level 6 very soon. Oh, wait, no! He doesn't get enough experience for it! The creeps! The creeps!
That's so greedy.
3 experience away from level 6.
Deserved.
In peace.
That's karma.
I think that's just what you get for being a filthy greedy alchemist, but I don't think he'll be punished for it too hard. Although Francis is going in, there's a charge.
Yep, Nushen going in on this Kratos Human, but Minsky gets caught within the cogs, and now he's the one in trouble. Though he's a little bit too quick for them, he'll bottle himself back up to a decent amount of HP and walk away. Though up on the high ground, Nushen hangs. They've got Sis back on into this one, who it looks like might just go straight back in to farm up these camps, finish what he started, it seems. As now he's got his ultimate, perhaps a little bit less greedy and a lot more secure in this lane. But Nusham, he's just kind of waiting and watching. The problem is he's underneath the acid spray, so he's taking a little bit of damage from this, but trying to sap some experience off this. He won't get any gold, though, stolen, as Sis should be able to make do with just the creep gold.
Yeah.
This is really good that he's getting XP, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's doing good, but it's just what else could be doing around the map that's a little more productive than this? Because it seems like Tisho are just totally controlling the game here. They're winning the lanes, they're getting really nice farm. Anti-Mage is second on the net worth chart, even against this Darkseer harassing him, so he's doing A-okay. He is going to get charged here underneath the tower, and he does have his blink in 6 seconds, so what's going to happen here?
Well, the fact that he popped blink makes him a little bit less likely to end up surviving, but it looks like Nusham, he had no more creeps underneath the tower, which meant that he couldn't stay in and fight. And the problem that you had is both Jenkins and Nusham are low on mana. A Mana Boy, even though at level 1 doesn't do a whole lot of damage, it still is a nuke that you never really want to forget about whenever you're trying to push, especially underneath a tier 1 tower as without that much backup to follow you in. So Darren's will be just fine. This Anti-Mage, obviously being a hard hero to bring down, but the fact that they can't do anything to him right now is just a testament to how well T-Show are manipulating their side of the map and keeping Leviathan at bay.
Absolutely. So now Baga has totally left the mid. Clockwork's taken over, just trying to get that experience almost, or just a little bit over level 5, not really close to that level 6, and super, super poor. This guy is struggling a little bit, as we usually see Clockworks do, but as soon as he gets that hook, he's going to be great. But bottom lane, we have some action going on.
Yep, they will get a little bit of damage out. Looks like they might be able to follow up on Nusham. They pop out the Mana Void. Again, not a lot of damage, but they still get the kill. So Nusham, we talk about the Spirit Breaker. If he can't charge and find kills, what does he do? Well, apparently he just dies. Flying Zebra is going to fly away with the Surge, helping him. The Winds of Fortune at his back. But that still is a one fight for T-Show. Leviathan still trying to get themselves on the board with a big old goose egg, where T-Show have 2 kills.
If you're Leviathan, how do you get yourself on the board? Do you wait for a full 3-4-man team fight, or can you go for a pick-off? Who can you target right now?
I think they're just going to be focused on farming. Like their efforts through the last 2-3 minutes have been directed at putting pressure on the mid and safe lane and diverting attention away from Shibby on the safe lane, who is rushing an Orchid, it seems. I don't actually agree with this. I think it would be better if he got a Ag Scepter. And you see Chiwan Kwa, Francis. It looks like he's saving up money for something. I hope it's like Shadow Blade.
Bottom
or
lane,
Blade.
Anti-Mage is in a little bit of trouble. Is going to get charged on. There's some Ion Shelled creeps following him around, but he'll be A-okay and has a blink if he needs to use it.
Yep, and Sis is down there as well. Perhaps he takes the counter initiation. As Therens, he's baiting them back in again. We'll go for the blink. Sis is close by. Now, Jenkins could be the one in trouble. As in comes the paralyzing the unstable concoction. Acid spray down as well. Jenkins taking a lot of damage, but will survive through it. As now Nusham trying to get away. They pop the Mana Void to cancel the TP. And that will mean a very, very dead Spirit Breaker. One last swipe, and Sis will get the kill. So once again,
of course, the Alchemist takes it.
yeah, well, you give it to Alchemist. He gets a
Yeah.
lot
They
of
need
gold
to
from
get
that.
this tower or kill on top. They need to take this tower.
Guess this is the
If it
best
gets
they can
denied,
get.
if it gets okay, they take it. So Queen of Pain's on a really good track for a very quick Orchid. Gonna get the first Oblivion staff now. That also puts Francis at 1,800 gold. So honestly, I think the early game isn't going as terribly for Leviathan as it seems. Like the Alchemist is getting a lot of farm, yeah, but he's not so far ahead that it's in full-on disaster mode, I think.
Right, like this is not a 10-minute radius coming out for this Alchemist.
No.
Very shy.
He's not going to Radiance. He's not going for it.
Alright, so they'll smoke up and look for a kill in the bottom lane. Could this be what they need right now? I mean, of course, they don't really need anything, but getting a kill on Therens right here could be fantastic. We'll have to see if they'll be able to do it as Nusham. He's got the charge, Jenkins got the surge, but they'll go in, they'll hook in Jenkins, and what does the Darkseer even do about this? He'll just straight up go down. King RD will end up getting the kill. Meanwhile, Kratos, their human, goes in, pops down the Bloodlust onto Therens. It doesn't look like they'll chase any further as the charge out. Nusham up to safety, but Jenkins not going to be as lucky.
DK picked himself up on Midas, so definitely looking to go towards the later game. He needs some farm. He's not doing as well as the Quap, and just... he's not doing as well as the Anti-Mage, so he needs to make sure he's relevant in the later part of this game.
He's actually even on net worth with the Anti-Mage, so he's doing okay.
What has just happened to Nusham?
He died to neutrals. He went
Yeah.
to ward the Ancients.
He died warding the agents. I guess died doing what he loved, right?
Yeah. That's just like, I'm stuck in a position that I don't want to be stuck in. I'm getting out of here. Because he... Oh, whatever.
Well,
It's
Queen
not
of Pain's
really
going to TP
consequential.
bottom. Are they going to go for some fights here? It looks like Queen of Pain blinking aggressively
They
forward,
see.
trying to see what she can find, but they do see it, and it looks like Therens is going to
This
just
is
grab himself away. He's playing pretty safe, and if... I mean, the Ogre Magi, he's playing a little aggressively, but he's stacking the camps. He's doing what he needs to do, and what did T-Show do now? How do they keep their lead here as the Anti-Mage starts getting... Or sorry, as the Queen of Pain and the Dragonite start getting farm and start getting items and kill potential?
Don't let Jenkins steal your stacks. That's what you do.
Well, they've that was a really big rotation by the Queen of Pain. Like, rotating before you have your Orchid, you have to get a kill to make it worth it, and if they don't get a kill, they have to go for a tower. So, if you're T-Show, you basically want to prevent the tower from going down so that the Queen of Pain loses a little bit of momentum on her item progression. So, this will be a pretty key fight.
There's a smoke in though from T-Show, as it seems like Jenkins and Nusham are going to reveal. NRD looking for the hook, but cancels the first one, not going to throw it out. Now finally goes for it, but will miss. Francis a little bit far forward. He's underneath the acid spray, but in comes the paralyzing cast. It bounces to and fro, but it seems like Nusham is the one caught in a lot of trouble. They will get the Nether Strike off, but ends up going down the vacuum wall, and that'll be enough to bring down King RD. Now Sis is walking away from this one, as the Winter's Curse will lock Leviathan back a little bit of time. Maybe it buys the escape for T-Show, but in comes the Dragon Tail. They want Corrido Serhuman, and they should be able to bring him down. The acid spray to cover the escape, but Chibi goes forward. Sonic Wave goes for the Scream of Pain as well, I think, but isn't able to connect onto it. Now they're going to bottle Sis up. The Arctic Burn will slow down Chibi. Does he go for that last break? No. The Unstable Concoction. He gets it off. He gets the kill. He's at a triple. 7 seconds. Oh, does he get away? He's choking around the trees, but no, he's dead.
Yeah, I mean, at least the Queen of Pain gets something for it, grabs the Orchid, and that was just an all-time... That was a pretty successful pick-off. The Alchemist is dead for another 20 seconds, and that's 20 seconds where he's not farming.
And that's super important on an Alchemist, too. Like, that's almost doubly, triply important because of the extra gold he gets from farming if he doesn't die.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a really good team fight for Leviathan. Like I mentioned, how because they rotated the Queen of Pain in, they need to get a tower. So they get the tower, they get a triple kill for the Queen of Pain, and she gets her Orchid. So that's an extremely successful rotation by her. Even though she does die, it's 14 minutes and she has a full Orchid. So they can pick off the Alchemist before he gets his ultimate. They can pick off the Anti-Mage now. They can also kill the Winter Wyvern. Like, these squishy supports, these squishier heroes, are going to become food for the Queen of Pain.
Absolutely. I mean, that was her first death, and she was 3-1-0, so she's still doing fantastic even though she died there, and that was just one cheeky play right at the end there, blinking him with the Scream of Pain, securing the kill on the Alchemist. Just, I can't praise that enough.
Yeah, but it looks like now he's going to go in super aggressive. He almost found a Sonic Wave, but he doesn't have the cooldown for it. Now it seems like he might just go down, though he's able to blink himself back into the low ground. Very aggressive move as Francis, a little bit far forward. Baga, he goes into the Cold Embrace, but the Nether Strike will be enough to kill him. And comes Theris. He goes out onto Francis, who will go down to the tower. Now Nusham is trapped within the trees, that Nether Strike being the doom of himself. And they get one kill, but is it worth it, as they don't even get the tier 1 tower on top of it?
That was extremely cocky.
Yeah, I think just a very aggressive play from the Leviathan. They didn't have the team fight to back it up. They weren't prepared to go all in, and they didn't count that, you know, T-Show are pretty strong fighters. They can get themselves some kills. So I think Leviathan just a little bit of overconfidence going into that, and the Queen of Pain, she got lucky again this time, but it cost her 2 of her teammates.
Yeah, that's why I would have preferred the Ag Scepter, honestly, because it allows you to just have like 40 seconds downtime on your ult is huge, because you're able to just you're able to force fights a lot faster than you normally would be. Like, if she had her ult there, they would have taken that team fight easily, I think.
Yeah, I mean, how's Theron's doing? He's 3rd on the net worth chart, so he's doing pretty well in terms of net worth. He's almost at his Battle Fury, but it's not going to be a super impressive, like, 15-minute Battle Fury or anything. It's going to be on par, but how does he make himself ultra-relevant in the late game? What does he buy against this lineup?
Just do anti-mage things. I think Ritsu has experimented with going for a Linken's Hero on anti-mage, and I think this game it could actually be pretty good, because there's a threat of the Spirit Breaker, there's the instant stun from the DK. He doesn't have like a Shadow Blade or a Blink yet, as they will smoke up and try and find something. Because they do have the Queen of Pain ult now, so they have to find a kill on the AM.
They should be able to get him too if they can find him with this Orchid, and they catch him. This is very troublesome, as yeah, they should just be able to bring him down. The double paralyzing cast, but in comes the Sonic Wave. I'm not quite sure where that Death Ward was there, but
miscommunication.
Regardless
kill
of the
secured,
case,
I guess.
Do get the anti-mage. Yeah, kill secured. They do get the anti-mage. Now they'll go for one more charge, but Sis, he's got a charge of his own. He's got that haste rune now popping up the unstable concoction. Might turn around and throw it, but he's not going to find the target. No, he will. Gets it on to Jenkins, who will turn around and bring down Baga. Now another strike up onto the high ground, but in comes Kurnos Human with a fire blast. Back down the low ground. There's going to be Cogs locking in, but not for long enough. No Champ still looking for kills, but is going to cancel the last possible moment. There's going to be the disengage. A hectic fight, but only 2 from T-Show going down.
Yeah, I think this could have been a lot worse for T-Show, but Leviathan are showing their team fight potential. They go in, the Spirit Breaker played that fight pretty excellently, forcing back the Alchemist pretty completely, and although Witch Doctor didn't have ult, he managed to not die, which was super crucial because he's ultra squishy.
Orchid first. Oh, Eggs first is actually worse than Orchid. I think, like, this game, like, I would have liked to see the Eggs just so they can fight more, but I think the Orchid is a better choice because it allows you to kill the anti-mage like we saw.
Well, it's like the Storm Spirit conundrum when you're playing Storm against an anti-mage. Do you go for that Bloodstone first, which is very common, or do you go a different route and go for the Orchid first? So it's very similar in that vein, and I know people who would go for the Aghanim Scepter first and just think that, oh, well, I'll still be able to get the Orchid before the Manta style, right? Comes out on the anti-mage. But the more time you have to be super aggressive on that anti-mage, the better. And that's why I do agree with this Orchid pickup, though. Therence is closing in on, okay, not really. He's only got 700 gold to his name after that Battle Fury pickup. It's just showing that the Orchid puts so much pressure on him.
Oh,
in the mid lane. They've got another strike out, but the hook is going to stall things for a short bit. Francis is in, as the Cogs will lock Nusham up onto the high ground. Kratos their human, yeah, in comes Therence. He'll be able to solo up the kill. As the rest of Leviathan, they turn tail and run. Not quite literally if you're Francis.
They should force a fight here.
Yeah, I really do think they should force a fight. They have the upper hand. Sis is just a madman right now, and he's actually not as far on the net worth chart as I thought he would be. Queen of Pain's keeping up with him pretty dramatically, and I think if this Quap continues to farm the way she's farming and get the kills that she's getting, she could have a really nice area around the 25-30 minute mark.
Well, there are two directions you can go with an Alchemist, too. You can go the super farming build, which would be able to keep him, like, 5k ahead of the next highest. Or you go the build he's going, where you're building more utility. You tank up, you get some armor, you make sure that you will be able to fight with just 1 or 2, maybe mid to smaller items. And, you know, that's the kind of style I like to see. And maybe he builds into an Assault Cuirass or a Heart after this. Whatever the case, this is the itemization that doesn't give you a lot of net worth, but still will mean that you have more of an impact in the game.
Different note, I think Spirit Breaker's still holding on to the mango that he bought at the very beginning of the game, and I just love that.
Lucky mango.
Absolutely.
He's holding on to that lucky mango. It's treated him pretty well so far, as he's had a good amount of team fight. He's done pretty well. He has 1-0 and 4, or sorry, 1-4 and 2, so he's not doing great. But up at this rune spot, Sis is going to go in, takes a Dragon Tail right to the face, and it should break off from here. But oh, beautiful hook shot in from King RD is going to punish Francis here. Francis is running for his life, has another stun up whenever he needs to use it, and will throw it onto Sis right now. But that battery assault is doing some damage. Negative earn coming in, and now Therence comes in. King RD securing the kill, and now Sis is being charged, but I don't think this is going to end here. Alka's going to stun himself, but I don't think there's the damage from the Spirit Breaker. That guy's just going to turn tail and run right now.
What?
Yeah, meanwhile, Baga having a bit of the time of his life up on the top lane.
That should never happen.
Did Winter Wyvern just solo?
He must have had help. I think there was an Ogre. Yeah, the Ogre Magi was there, so it was 2 supports for fighting against the Queen of Pain, who did use ultimate too. That's a huge mistake.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that puts T-Show on the driver's.
I honestly think that Leviathan are just not playing this draft to its full potential up in this top. We are going to see Therence going in, just getting a melting kill onto that Witch Doctor. Again, super takey charge, stopping in its tracks right there. Does not want to go on the Anti-Mage because, I mean, Therence is having the game that he's wanted all along on that Anti-Mage. He has that Battle Fury, going for the Yasha, and he's just doing A-okay. Has another 1,000 gold in the bank to spend.
Yeah, the Manta timing is incredibly important for him right now. Getting that Orchid up is going to need to be that thing that or evading the Orchid is going to need to be the thing that is very important in this game. I mean, he does a lot of damage, but if he's silenced, then things can go very sour for him. But right now, Leviathan, they've got a whole lot of stuff. Oh, yeah, well, that's just Francis. You know, this is what Dragon Knight does. You stack up the Ancient Camp for him, and he'll go and he'll tank it. Now, he goes for his Shadow Blade, which I really like. Although it does build a little bit more towards his mid-game, which may not be smart considering T-Show are starting to approach the later aspects of the game. But for right now, I think they just want to boost up their fight and look for some pickoffs. This game, it cannot go very long for them. They do not have the carry potential to go up against an Alchemist and an Anti-Mage. So what's got to happen for them is they've got to get to that point where they can just straight up puff out their chest, walk down the mid, and force T-Show into a fight that they don't want to take.
Up top, Sis is going to stun himself, revealing himself, and the Queen of Pain just blinks out of there. Is going to run into the Clockwork, silences him up with the Orchid. Blade Mail popped, and it looks like Shibby does not want to deal with that right now, though the Spirit Breaker charging in finds himself in a sticky situation, is going to get hooked on by the Clockwork, and now it looks like Sis is back in, has a haste rune stun channeling, and will pop him like a bubble.
Yeah, that vacuum attempt.
I think once this game reaches once the game reaches 40 minutes, I think it's just over for Leviathan. If they haven't taken 2 barracks by then, they've probably lost the game.
Yeah, I think this Alk is only going to get bigger and stronger, as well as the Anti-Mage, who now just surpasses Alchemist on the net worth chart.
He's dead.
Alright, well, yeah, King RD securing himself another kill. Clockwork usually having a tough early game, but 4-1 and 2, this guy is on it. Has his Blade Mail, has an urn with some charges in it. What does he need to buy to make himself super useful? Anyone?
Force staff.
Force staff? Alright, just going for more mobility.
Yeah.
And now Alchemist throwing that charge onto Dragonite on the back line. Shadowblade coming out for that guy. Sorry, Silver Edge coming out for that guy. Is going to be able to invis himself away. And now it looks like Orchid is being cast onto the Clockwork. Death Ward being committed, but Witch Doctor might regret that. His health health is ticking very, very low. And looks like the Cold Embrace is coming in. Vacuum's in. But right now, King RD is still alive. Still somehow living through this. He's going to try to hook himself away, but will go down.
Yeah, but now charge down to the bottom lane. Therence, yeah, there's no way you're killing this Anti-Mage. He's got his, oh wait, no. They've got to work it out, but the Manta just coming out. He is able to get himself away up to the north. What timing for the Anti-Mage.
They needed like 2 more seconds there for the Spirit Breaker ult, and they would have killed him.
Yeah, that was...
Yeah.
This Anti-Mage is
This
just...
is already a disaster.
Exactly. I think it is starting to be a disaster. T-Show are showing that they are not out of this. They want to get to this grand finals. They want to win this tournament, and they seem to have the skills to do it. We'll see how this late game progresses, though.
If I know Leviathan, they're not going to go down without a major fight, though. And I almost imagine we expect to see one or two more team fights won by Leviathan before they are, if they lose a game, before they will end up losing it. But those team fights could be enough to turn it around. I don't know. I do expect to see them showing or pulling out all the stops in the near future.
Oh.
Maybe that's one of the ones that they probably shouldn't have pulled out. As Nusham, well, he's dead.
That was a nice, clean pickoff into the Roche pit. I think that was probably the most ideal pickoff you could have if you're T-Show. And what do Leviathan do? Is there any way to keep themselves relevant in the game? Do they try to take a team fight? Do they go back and farm? Because I don't think they're going to win a farm war against an Alchemist and an Anti-Mage.
They have to fight this. They have to go in and contest the Roche, because if they give away the Aegis, that's at least 2 towers down. So they have to go in and take this fight with the Spirit Breaker.
I don't know if they have to. Maybe they can walk up and force them out of the pit. Like, you see what they're doing? They're buying time for the Spirit Breaker now. They got to be careful of King RD, though. He's got the Boundary Assault, but no hook for
he's
10
dead.
seconds. What's Francis doing? Oh, wait, he walks out of vision. How they have vision of him? Oh, the Sentry Ward. Okay, now a charge comes through, but it will be canceled. As it doesn't seem like Leviathan are quite ready to fight it. Maybe it would have been a last resort fight if they had to, but they've got a little bit of time left to kill. But now, it seems T-Show, they're going to actually go in for this fight. We'll see if Leviathan are able to react to it fast enough. They go in with the Shadow Blade out on to Francis, but he gets hit by the hook. Doesn't even know he's there. Now they know because of the Sentry Ward, but Theron's still trying to fight the Roshan. Winter's Curse up on the high ground. On the low, there's going to be the vacuum catching 4. They will be able to bring down King RD and Sis off the back of that one. Now they turn in for Theron's. They get the Dragon Tail. Can they bring them down? They will. Shibby gets a double kill. 3 will go down. And the Roshan will go to Leviathan. All off the back of Jenkins and that beautiful vacuum wall.
That was an unbelievable play by the Darkseer. That is 100% what won them that fight. And now the Aegis goes the way of the Queen of Pain. She's back in this game. Leviathan, we can't count them out. They can still have some incredible team fight, and we just saw that's how you use their draft. The Darkseer with that beautiful vacuum wall. Queen of Pain coming in the back with the Sonic Wave, just securing all the kills. That was fantastic to watch.
Very well played. They need to take at least 2 more objectives off the map now, though. They need to get more map control. Like they need
so they can't just go back and farm?
mid tier 2 tower and mid No, they can't. If you let T-Show go back into the pattern of farming and establishing as much map control as they want, you're just gonna like you've got the Aegis for no reason. You have to do something with it. Like I think
Can
at
they
this
take
point
another
you
5-on-5
just wait
engage?
for Francis. They can once Francis gets his level 5, or once Francis gets his ult up. They can.
All right, and did they get to pick that, or did they wait for a Clockwork Hook and then just gang up on the villain? Like, who gets to start this fight, and how does it go down? Because honestly, I don't know who their initiator is. Because on the side of T-Show, it's Clockwork. He hooks in, picks a guy.
You just wait for the initiation. You just wait for them to all go in and clump. You wait for the Winter Wyvern ultimate to be used, and then you go in with your Darkseer. He has wall now, so they need to push.
Looks like they'll do that. Gonna see the
Yeah, they're going bottom.
the full Leviathan making their way off to the bottom lane. Not quite sure where their opening is going to be, but it seems like they've got a lot of patience on this lineup, making things happen.
Look, Jenkins is gonna buy a Blink Dagger. This is huge. This is gonna win them the next fight.
Oh, I love this
That's
so
gonna
much.
be an awesome combo. Also, Ogre Magi picks himself up a Gem of True Sight, which is gonna be fantastic in catching out the Dragon Knight with that Silver Edge. Sorry. So, I mean, his Invis is pretty much useless now. Yeah, the Silver Edge is fantastic for the extra damage, attack speed, disabling of passives, but if he can't use it to get away in a panic, then what's the point?
They're just gonna take this tier 2 for free. This is smart by T-Show. They know that if they lose another fight, then they potentially lose a set of barracks, which is huge for them. So they're in an awkward position where they are being forced to fight.
Thank you, Stats Man. Alchemist just went ahead and bought an Ags for the Clockwork. That was, I mean, pretty friendly right there. The Alchemist is at the point where he just feels comfortable with that. Hooks onto Shibby.
BKB is dead. They killed the courier.
Oh God.
Who
They
killed
need
the
to just
courier?
back off right now. I think Anti-Mage did.
Yeah, Anti-Mage mid lane. He's in a pretty aggressive position, leaving his Manta Illusions just to chunk down this tower. But now Newsham should be able to clean them up, and the tower will live. But Anti-Mage doing what he does best and just causing distractions all over the map, getting that farm. And now there's going to be a fight here as looks like Francis is in some trouble here. Sis stunning himself up, but Therence is here just chunking down the Dragon Knight like it's absolutely nothing. And now Sis is on the hunt. He wants more, but I don't think he'll be able to find it. Aegis climbing in another 2 minutes. Queen of Pain still holding on to that, but she is safe and sound.
A courier kill just bought them. I think that courier kill saved them their barracks.
Saving the game.
No, I think you like with an anti-mage and an alchemist, you can hold against one set of barracks.
Trying to be dramatic here, dude. Help me out.
Like
And they would have lost. They would have lost straight up there if the BKB had come in. Like he would have just 1v5 and won the fight.
Anti-Mage doesn't even care. Just going up, taking the tower. He's getting charged by the Spear Breaker. This could be an initiation here, but he's going to decide to back off. He's behind Sis now, as that guy is just so big. He has his finished shots in Yasha and another 1,600 gold in the bank. Sorry, so what does he buy next?
He's literally huge.
He hasn't had any
He's
item progression.
Literally huge.
Like he bought his Sanjin Yasha 10 minutes ago and hasn't got anything since then because he was busy feeding the eggs to Clockwork. Like this is where you have to strike a balance. Because at this point, I think he's too squishy to actually do anything. Like, he just dies.
Really? Do you think he's falling off in terms of usefulness? Because Anti-Mage, he's sitting at the top of the net worth chart, but behind
He
him,
is. The only
Queen of Pain and Dragon Knight.
hero that matters is Anti-Mage.
Alright, so this is all on
At this point.
Therence's shoulders right now.
Pretty much.
Think he'll be able to start to have an impact again. I mean, he's back up to 2,400 gold. All he's got to do is just straight up farm. I mean, I know it sucks that T-Show have to just sit back and farm for a little bit, but he can pull so much gold off the map right now that if he can get something like, again, the Assault Cuirass out, he will start to have the impact once again that he was having before, but I agree. With the items he's got currently, he's a little bit too weak to just straight up take a fight, and it seemed like he may have forgotten that 1 or 2 times, but T-Show, they've been lucky. They've bought a lot of time off this game.
He is getting the AC now. Like, he gets gold very quickly, but he doesn't get it as fast as he could if he had gone for, like, purely farming items.
Oh, yeah.
So he needs to be 100% utility right now. Like, just make sure that the anti-mage doesn't die.
This is going to be a very, very long Roche respawn in almost 6 minutes, so almost max time. Is this going to be a turning point Roche, or does it not even matter at this point? Like, who's in a better position to take it, and what would it mean for them?
Neither. I think T-Show take Roche a little bit faster, But if Leviathan get the Aegis, it means a lot more for them. Tisho basically just take the Aegis so that Leviathan can't have it, and so that they can farm more. It will take
Look
a
at
tier 3
that
tower,
tower,
for free, though.
absolutely melt. That Alchemist is just such a monster combined with the Anti-Mage. So looks like Dragonite will pick himself up a BKB, having a little bit more sustainability for next fight. But I just think Tisho are in such a good position right now.
It could go either way. It's gonna come down to the next fight. And Shibi's
look
getting
at
a Hex.
Look at the net worth graphs and the net XP graphs. They're just all over the place at this point. That deep V there on the net XP. And that really shows how much a team fight can turn, because the team fights here have been absolutely great, where the most important people go down, and that's absolutely huge.
I think both teams are going to be looking to make a smoke happen right now, because they've got all their spells off cooldown. They know that Roche will be happening, like, not soon, but the map control that they're going to need to get it is, oh no, they're smoking within range of a... Are they going to smoke here? I don't think so.
I don't think they do.
They have one on the Witch Doctor, and they're definitely looking to smoke, but there's a Radiant Ward right here.
If they smoke
Are they gonna do it?
They
are.
just get revealed. Oh, please don't. Looks like
Please,
they won't.
just a little bit longer. Oh!
Rip. So this is where Tisho will have to make a very tough decision. They say, we know that they've smoked, and we know that they're coming towards our jungle.
Now they've got a lot of
so
time
I
to
can
think
explain
about it.
this. They basically... Windows update, dear lord.
What?
I've had that too.
That is the worst.
Basically, what happens here is Tisho have to make a very tough decision. They can go back to their base and wait for the enemy team to reveal themselves, or they can try and fight into it, which is extremely risky, because often we see teams overestimate, like, yeah, we know they're smoked up, we're going to take a fight, it'll be easy, and then they end up losing.
Yeah, but they've got the high ground advantage, and actually Francis, he went into Shadow Blade first. Now, they don't have much, oh wait, no, they do have vision of them. They just launch onto him. There it is, he goes in, but the vacuum, is it going to be enough this time? In comes the Wreath Fire, and that's going to reduce the damage for a short amount of time. As this, he's just locked in, duking it out with his own illusion. King RT, he's going to get stunned by the Dragon Tail, but Francis is trying to run himself away. They'll hook into him, but meanwhile, Snooshan in a lot of trouble drawing the fight back. He'll end up going down. But that's him going down in place of everyone else in Leviathan by so much space for the rest of his team to disengage. The sacrificial lamb is very successful.
Yeah, sacrificial cow more like, but I think that was very well played. Leviathan minimized all their losses. They went in for a smoke, didn't realize what a bad position it would put them in, but I mean, the Darkseer wall is down, and Dragonite ultimate form is down, but other than that, I think they didn't really lose anything that would have been crucial for them to lose, so they can just kind of reset a little bit. Alchemist going ahead, checking the Roche, but they still got 3 minutes before that's up.
Yeah, but he'll make
That was
it
about
high
as well.
ground. This is a very aggressive move. They missed the hook. It looks like Leviathan are not going to turn around. This is not a fight they want to take right now. They'll cut their losses, leave the ancient camp. Or maybe not. They'll vacuum Sis up onto the high ground. Do they bring him down? He is silenced. They get him with the stun, the paralyzing cask, and they do clean him up. Doesn't seem like anyone from Tisho can do anything about this. Now they charge out. They'll find Baga and Nether Strike him. They've got him locked on the high ground, but then they push him onto the low. He gets forced out back up onto the high ground. He's away. But Jenkins, he's still chasing. But the Blink Dagger out. The Ion Shell cannot connect fast enough. They're still chasing him down. They charge in. They get him in the trees. And it looks like, the vacuum. He gets pulled down and back in again and down and back. And finally, they get the kill. But that was a lot of time spent.
Yeah, that was
Anti-Mage.
one resilient Ice Dragon. Anti-Mage just gonna go ahead, clean up the tower like it's nothing. He's playing his own game at this point, and Therence is playing it so well. Has that Reaver. He's gonna build into a heart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
well, I think that'll just help him out so much. That tankiness is going to be so crucial, especially against what we saw them unleash on the Alchemist. And
He's got the full heart. after
okay,
this
he
game.
has the full heart. Awesome, and he has his butterfly completed as well. So talk about item progression. This guy has it all going on, whereas the Alchemist, he's got that Assault Cuirass, but nothing else really notable.
Yeah, see, during that, like, that was very ambitious by him. I think he overestimated how much health he had, where, like, he walked up, he saw that they were doing Ancients, chased them away, and then tried to do the Ancients himself, and ended up getting punished for it. So, like I said, it's pretty much only the Anti-Mage who matters anymore for the Radiant, in the same way that, like, I think Darkseer is the most important hero for Leviathan.
I tend to
If you
agree
noticed
with
in
you.
that last big fight that they took, like, he blinked in, he got stunned immediately, but he cast the vacuum before, so they immediately disengaged because they knew that unless he gets a perfect vacuum wall off, they just lose the fight. So they disengage.
What does Alk do to keep himself relevant? Like you said, he's not going to be the key to any fights
Buy
because
auras.
that's the anti-mage.
Yep.
Just buy...
Buy auras.
Aura Slave.
Alright,
get,
Aura Slave. Does he go for
Drums,
more ags, or...
Vlads.
Get
Everything
a
that
Vlad's.
projects an aura, you get. Pretty much.
Get a Vlad's, get, like, maybe a Shiva's. Shiva's would actually be okay here.
It could be fine. I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't think he needs to stack up any more armor either, but personally, I'm more of a fan of Shiva's on someone like the either Clockwork or the Ogre Magi, to be perfectly honest, but
They're gonna smoke.
yep, maybe they can find a head-on engagement here. Leviathan don't seem like they're ready for it, at least
Where's
not yet.
Darkseer?
They could initiate with the hook. Do you think they go on the Darkseer here? I mean, he is in the middle of everyone on their side of the map.
Needs to be him or the Witch Doctor.
We'll see who it is. Instead, it is going to be maybe Francis. No, they go on to Flying Zebra, but Jenkins is waiting. It's pushed back by the Cogs. Can we see it? No, he only finds King RD. This is a little bit of trouble for Leviathan as Flying Zebra. He ends up going out. No, the forward staff. He's on the low ground. It seems like every from the Leviathan are staying alive, but unfortunately, Spirit Breaker, he does go down. He has to buy back into this one. Jenkins on the run. They get the Hex out onto Theron's, but they can't follow up with it at all. The Darkseer's Wall replica. It ends up getting some mana burn, but it's not a hell of a lot. Now we've got the Cogs in, but Theron's, he still gets a couple of kills. Francis, he's trying to fight, but he doesn't have quite the damage he needs. As Theron's, he's just being a monster. Another vacuum, another try, but it's not successful. Leviathan, they're still fighting. They shouldn't be fighting. They're going to lose Nushan for a second time. It's a dieback.
GG.
Yeah, it's not looking good right now for Leviathan.
And the Roche is up. This is a free Roche as
Yep.
well. This is just an absolute stomp from Tisho. They're showing that they are so ready to get to this grand finals. And Leviathan, it seems like they're just crumbling under pressure. They built a really strong team fight lineup, but aside from that one time near the Roche pit, they haven't been able to execute that really crisp team type that their draft is meant for.
Jenkins was out of position is mostly the thing that happened there. Like, he got stuck in these trees here, so the only way that he can get a favorable team fight is like if he blinks out over here and resets.
Queen of Pain gonna go in, gets a nice kill on the Ogre Magi, just a nice simple pickup, but now she might be in trouble. Is gonna orc it up the Clockwork. He's gonna have to
He's got a DD
blade
really
mail
nice.
himself. Yeah, that Queen of Pain, she's doing some damage, picks herself up a double kill, and now it looks like Baga might be going in for the kill.
Oh, maybe Shibby. Oh, just gets out of that one. Doesn't actually get the gem, though. We saw a little cheeky play, Baga getting the gem instead. But Shibby, I mean, he's making some game out of no game. Getting a couple pickoffs like that on the top lane. Definitely one of the star players right now for Leviathan. I think him and Jenkins are really carrying this way on the back. If they can both find the fight they need, then this game goes wide open. But the window for that to be as effective as it can be is starting to close. We saw it in the last fight, although they weren't able to get it quite off. It still became a little bit apparent where T-Show, they're just so survivable. And Theron's, I mean, how do you even bring him down? You get the Hex off, but he just kind of walks away.
Yeah, he's so big right now. You said that Alchemist was gonna be the Aura Slave, then why is he building a Soul Booster? Is that gonna go into Octarine, or... Yeah, I just don't think that's the smartest play. That's gonna keep him alive, but...
I thought about it for a while, and I think actually, like, at this point you don't want any more auras, because the more auras you get, the more it benefits the Darkseer with his illusion. So, he's struck a pretty good balance, so I would argue that honestly, at this point, the Alchemist doesn't matter. It's just the Anti-Mage and the Clockwork. Well, like, the rest of the team matters, the Alchemist doesn't. So he can build whatever he wants, and I think they'll still win. Unless they get, like, horribly caught out of position by Jenkins.
If you take a look at the net XP chart, they're really not in that much of an advantage. It's only about, 9k, which isn't a whole lot at this point of the game, but looks like Spirit Breaker gonna go in. Theron's is silenced, but that doesn't bother him one bit. He's just gonna eat through the creeps, chunk down this tower like it's nothing, but now he might be in some trouble as he steps up onto the high ground, and people can punish him for this.
He's got Aegis, he doesn't need to care.
And he's got Aegis for a good while. I don't think that's going away anytime soon, so...
He's got 3 minutes left on it.
Do they start this off with a clockwork hook, or can Anti-Mage just walk up onto the high ground like it's no business?
You just walk up, take the tier 3 tower, and then start a fight after that.
Looks like Francis, he just wants to start a fight on his own terms, PKPs, but what does he do? They get the Winter's Curse, and that locks in 4 of them, and that means Therence, he just goes after it, but the charge through will halt the fight for a short amount of time, but I don't think they just lose the Queen of Pain, and Francis, where does he fight here? He's trying to stand up to Therence, but he just can't do it. The Mana Void, there is a vacuum wall, but it just doesn't do anything. They've got no follow-up for it. In comes Nusham, he drops down, or Shibby rather, drops down with a Sonic Wave, but it's just not enough damage. 2 are dead for Leviathan. Jenkins, though, he'll find Ogre Magi on the back lines, looking like it was because of that wall. But I don't see where Leviathan defend this. The Aegis is still up for 2 minutes. If they killed Therence once, how do they do it again? Maybe they don't even kill him once. Nusham, he's back up. They've got the cogs on him, but he'll get himself away. But this Rax is gone.
Yeah, this Rax is absolutely gone, and they might be able to clean up mid as well. I mean, Therence and Sis, they're still completely full health. That fight didn't even phase them, and Therence, he has 2 lives. He screws up 1. I think that this is... if they can hold this, maybe it's not GG, but it's really looking grim for Leviathan.
Yeah, they just have a case of the anti-mages. Like I said, once you hit 40 minutes, he's reached his peak. He can't be stopped. If he so long as he builds the right items, that is, but...
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, like,
Anti-Mage here, he's just solo cleaning up this tower, and he's getting charged, he got hexed, but he's still pretty much at full health.
Ooh,
this guy's really, really hard to kill, and it looks like Leviathan are just kind of giving up on that at the point.
Wow, what a crash. Holy shit.
Oh, you
Did
crashed?
I
You
did.
crashed?
Well, they're gonna back off the mid lane for a little bit, wait for creeps, go and Regoose. They have the Octarine core up on Alchemist. Therence, he has a Skullbasher sitting in his inventory, and he can purchase a full. He can purchase a full Abyssal Blade if he wants, because he has 7.6k net worth in his inventory. He's just got that saved up, got a bank account going on.
Yeah,
Walk
he could
for
just
it.
right-click any item he wants. It looks like he is just going to go and clean up the Rax. He does get silenced up. There's a fair amount of damage being cast. He's hexed up. He can't get out of here. There's armor being cast. He takes a Queen of Pain ult to the face, as well as a Darkseer wall. He's going to be okay right now, though, although it is time for Leviathan to get mean. They are going to charge in, and it looks like the Winter's Curse is on them. And now Sis is going to take an ult to the face from the Witch Doctor. Gem of True Sight's down, and it looks like... who backs off here? It's going to be Sis casting his stun onto the Winter Wyvern. It looks like the Winter Wyvern, sorry, the Dragon Knight will go down. Too many blue dragons in one place. And now it looks like Queen of Pain trying to do what she can on the back lines of this, but she's too low to initiate. And yeah, I mean, is this going to stalemate out? It looks like Sis going to go and throw a final stun. Who takes the gem after all that?
Shibby's dead. Oh, he has a blink. They're gonna miss the hook.
Oh, man.
Spirit Breaker holding on to the Gem of True Sight, but surprisingly not as many people from Leviathan died. That was a pretty nice hold. They got down the Winter Wyvern as well as the Ogre Magi, so... And most importantly, they got Anti-Mage out of their base, which was just such a nuisance for them, because there was nothing they could do against it.
He's got
And I'm
so
back
much
in.
freaking net worth.
I missed the first half of that fight, but it seems to me like Leviathan held against the Unholdable, and their racks are still standing, which is a good sign, right?
It was mostly due to the Darkseer getting a pretty good wall off. It just causes so much chaos in the fight.
Yeah,
He's going for Shiva's next too. Shiva's or Sheep. I think Shiva's is better, honestly.
I mean, I think the one really noticeable thing was the gem exchange. Spirit Breaker now holding on to it is going to help him out a little bit, I guess. I mean, no one really has invis, but they can de-ward with it, which is pretty nice, as there is a Radiant Ward in the Dire base that they could probably stand to get rid of.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like anything that Leviathan can do to prepare for the next push. Because if Tisho are feeling nervous about possibly throwing away their lead, which I think is basically impossible at this point, they just wait for next Roche, give it to the Anti-Mage again, and then take the remaining barracks. But
What does Anti-Mage drop for the Aegis, though? He's pretty damn six-slotted.
I think
Boots?
you
Does
just
he
drop
not
the
need
butterfly.
boots?
You just drop butterfly, put it on courier.
Alright, well, you know you're at a really good spot in the game where you can just drop your butterfly and have it be effective. So,
Look,
this
they're gonna
Anti-Mage...
engage into him. They're smoked up.
All right, Ted, you around for this one?
I am. No crashes this time as they're going to go in. Carito this takes so much damage, but on the back line's Therence. Oh, wait. There's the vacuum wall. In comes the breathe fire. Francis, he's fighting. Can they bring down Sis? This will be big if they can get it, but Therence, he's stopping the action. He's got an illusion down. Francis, he's looking in. He gets the dragon tail off, but the illusions are draining his mana. Therence now will go for the chase, but unfortunately, they are down Chibi, and now they're down the one, the only Chi Long Qua. And looks like just in the back there, he goes for a triple. That is going to be very close to, if not, the game, as just soon after, it looks like Flying Zebra will be the 5th and final one to go down. And yep, Therence, he just goes straight in for the Rax, or for the Ancient, as the
GG
GG
is
well
called.
played is called.
Good game, well played.
So we're going to a game 3 here, as T-Show managed to say that they're not going to just sit down and take it from Leviathan. They're going to stand up. It is now 1-1. We're going to a game 3 in this series. The winner of this series gets to play in the grand finals tomorrow, and the loser, they just take 3rd place and kind of bow their heads and go home.
All right, guys, with that said, that was game number 2 in the books. We still have another one left yet to play as T-Show even up the series, guys. I'm Chicago Ted. Joining me, of course, is AnneDroid Turbo, and on stats, Dr. Corporal British. Guys, do not change that channel because game number 3 will be coming up next.